Hello and welcome to Citizens Hotline with me, Kavita Krishnan. And this is the show where we tell you how to ensure that you get the services you are entitled to from the government. With me today is Gaurang Damani. Gaurang is the founder of diehardindian.com. He's a civic activist and he will tell you how to get redressal from the government. Gaurang, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Gaurang, let's start with the story that was brought in today by one of our reporters. Residents of Mumbai's Chedanagar are up in arms over the local municipality, and their grouse is that the BMC has not provided them with basic amenities, and that is as basic as clean, portable drinking water. Now, added to their problems, citizens have now begun falling ill with gastroenteritis and other water-related ailments. They have made several complaints to the BMC. It has not yielded any results. And in fact, this is not the first time that this is happening in the Chedanagar area. Residents have now reached out to us with their queries. Let's listen into what questions they had.
I have a bottle of collected water that they have, and you will see that this water is mixed with sewage water, and a repeated number of complaints to the BMC has gone unnoticed. They say that it's a recurring problem. In fact, I have with me residents. Let's talk to them and figure out what's gone wrong. First of all, tell us, since when have you seen this problem, and what was the root cause?
This problem because we have got the messages from the buildings. They are having the problem.
Water is smelling.
Water is smelling.
Okay.
Water is then contaminated because smelling and bad color and this thing.
Main problem is that people.
Okay, you tell me this. They also got the entire water tested, and you found E. coli in that. Tell me, what are the repercussions of having this in the water?
E. coli or Escherichia coli is called as a fecal indicator organism. It's called as an indicator for fecal pollution. So whenever the water is contaminated by human feces, you will get E. coli in it.
Okay.
Does E. coli cause any disease? By itself, it may not, although many of the strains do cause, like enteropathogenic E. coli causes, and it causes traveler's diarrhea too. But why is it called an indicator? Because if E. coli is present, chances are that Salmonella is also present, that is the typhoid organism is also present. Shigella is also present, which causes dysentery, which means any of the enteric pathogens can be present if E. coli is present.
Okay. While you wait for the reports, tell me this. Last time around, you also approached the BMC. What did they tell you?
They did come. Then initially, they just said that there is no problem from their side. Later on, they accepted that there was some wall had to be replaced. Because of that, it took 3 days for them. Because of that, the gutter water has got mixed in the water.
This time around, have you also approached the BMC again? Are they passing the buck?
See, all the citizens together with the CRWA, they have been running from pillar to post, meeting all the BMC officials, even the local corporator, the MLA. We have been trying to do whatever is possible, and I will not say that they have not cooperated, but
that, of course, was our reporter Amita Balachandra on ground at Chedanagar out there. And she also reached out, in fact, to the BMC, who refused to respond on camera. Gaurang, they said that they could do little in this matter because Chedanagar is built on private land. However, they said they are also doing a survey to determine the estimated cost of the entire project if they were to lay new pipelines in that area. And let's quickly listen into those questions that the citizens sent in to us.
My question is, BMC takes care of us by sending people to have killing the mosquitoes. If they can take care of our health that way, why is it waterborne diseases are not taken care of? We are taxpayers. We pay more taxes for water as well as the property taxes. So our interests have to be taken care of. Do they have a choice of not taking care of us?
Basic human necessity over there, and that itself is not being satisfied by the BMC. What can these residents do? And this is an old complex. It's not something that came up yesterday.
Okay, first of all, if the contamination has happened inside the society, then BMC is not responsible. But I'm almost sure that this contamination would have happened outside, because wherever you look in the city, there is rampant construction going on. Whether they are redoing the road like a million times in few years or the footpaths, what happens is the pipe gets damaged and a lot of pipes are old. So the gutter line gets mixed up with the water line, and that causes the water to get contaminated. So,
in fact, if I'm not mistaken, in most places in Mumbai, you have the sewage line and the water supply line laid down side by side.
yeah, so that does happen a lot of times, and unfortunately, there is no map in all the wards of how the sewage lines and the water lines are laid. It is all by trial and error. They will find out where the problem is, but there needs to be intense pressure put on the local BMC. They should go and approach the hydraulic department, the hydraulic engineer of the ward, and also the ward officer, who's also called the AMC, that is Assistant Municipal Commissioner. And it should be done on a war footing, because this is a very serious problem, and because it does take a few days to find out where exactly the problem could be, where the lines are
Gaurang,
merged.
the point here is that these citizens have already made a representation to the BMC. That's what they told us. And like they also pointed out, this is not the first time it's happening in Chedanagar. Around 2 months back, there was an outbreak of waterborne diseases in the colony, and this is the second time that that's happened.
So, it's one of my favorite sayings that BMC is bahut mehnat karo. So, unfortunately, you have to keep following up and persisting, because, without that, the work may not get done quickly. And it has to be almost on an hourly basis, like you have to be right there on their head, because it's a very serious problem. And till then, spread the message that water has to be boiled before consumption.
Right. Also, you said the hydraulic department, and you said the AMC. Now, assuming that they have already, made a representation to these two officers, where can they go next? How can they escalate this?
The hierarchy is the hydraulic engineer reports to the Assistant Municipal Commissioner, who reports to the Deputy Municipal Commissioner, and then the Additional Municipal Commissioner and the Municipal Commissioner, who sits at CST. So that is the hierarchy, but if the society has a team of volunteers, then they can approach everyone in the hierarchy, but they should do so in writing, and they should try and get the cell numbers so they can be in constant follow-up. And once they get the cell number, it should be circulated in the society, so they can be called on a very regular basis.
Okay, so you can get the cell number of the officers concerned and keep calling them, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Can they also get in touch with their corporator? Of course, the entire city has got newly elected corporators. Can they ensure
Yeah,
that
of
the
course they
corporator
should,
gets this
because
done?
ultimately the corporator is the link between the bureaucracy and the citizens. And if the colony is lucky to have a corporator who's experienced, then things may move faster. But if the person is a newly elected first timer, then it may take some time. But I think they should definitely approach the corporator.
So approach the corporator, and if you've already approached the AMC, that is the Additional Municipal Commissioner, and your local hydraulic engineer, in that case, then it's probably time for you to now escalate the problem. Of course, you should keep revisiting, keep going back to those officers, ensure that you take everything in writing. That's the only way you can get this solved. But this is something that you need to pursue on a war footing, is what Gaurang is telling you here. Let's move on to another question that is coming in from Hyderabad. Manohar says that he raised a grievance using the GHMC app regarding road encroachment. It was assigned to the Deputy Commissioner of the concerned circle. The ticket was closed within 24 hours by putting the comments as given information to the concerned person who encroached the road, and will take action as per due course of law. It's been 15 days now, no action has been taken. How do I proceed? How should I draft an RTI query on this? Citizens taking charge here, Gaurang. What should he do?
Okay, encroachments are of several types. One is, I'm assuming it is someone who's made a juggi or a jopda on the side of the road. So he has to approach the maintenance department, and in the maintenance department, that's where again the problem can get escalated to the Assistant Municipal Commissioner or the ward officer, however it's called in that area. And maintenance department also has several levels, like the junior engineer and the sub engineer. So if there is no other threat, then the complaints can be done in writing. For example, in my area, we collected over 300 signatures, and it took us, sad to say, but it took us a few years to get the encroachment removed with a lot of follow-up. So that can be one method, and writing is the best way to get this problem solved. And RTI should be used as the very last resort. and the information on
Why do
how-
you say that? Why do you say that? Use RTI as a last resort?
It's again a personal opinion. It may not be an opinion of many other activists. The reason is RTI, the officer feels a little irritated when they get RTIs. And if you have established a rapport with the local municipal office, then it is better to just pick up the phone or just go and meet the person and request him to do the needful. And if nothing works, then RTI definitely should be used as a last resort.
Okay, so RTI should be a last resort is Gaurang's opinion, because then the officer gets irritated. The officer might just turn against you, is what you're saying. What you need to do is, of course, go to your maintenance department, the local maintenance department, meet the engineer and the assistant engineer over there, register your complaint, show them the ticket that you've got, which is also proof that you've already registered your complaint once, and of course, a signature campaign with residents, which involves residents of that area. That is another good way to up the pressure on the civic body. So that's probably what you should do. And again, involve your corporator. It's the job of the corporator to be the via media between you and the corporation, the civic body. Rupesh sends in a question. Now he says, it has been 2 weeks since we've raised a complaint with the BMC regarding potholes in Dadar. No action has been taken yet. We've met all the possible officials in the office, but nobody is bothered. What do we do now? Is there an authority who will at least look into the issue and promise us that they will solve the problem? Gaurang, I have one more question to add to this. The BMC had come out with this pothole app where we were supposed to go around taking photographs of potholes, and these would be geo-tagged, and we had to send it to the BMC, and they were supposed to come and solve it within, say, 24 hours. Is that app even working?
So I'll answer the first question first. About the potholes, the resident said the area is Dadar. So Dadar, first of all, the citizen has to find out which ward relates to that area. So Dadar East or Dadar Central is under F North, and Dadar West is under G North ward office. So again, the department concerned here is the maintenance department in that ward office. So it has to be done in writing for the pothole. But a lot of times what happens is the road has been, the patches have been filled up a few times and the potholes don't seem to go away. So the best long-term thing to do in this case would be to approach the deputy chief engineer of the city. There is a chief engineer, at least as far as Mumbai is concerned, who sits at CST headquarters, and then there are 3 deputy chief engineers. So the concerned department here would be deputy chief engineer, who sits near Bombay Central, and they should do a complaint in writing, and what they do is they come and inspect the road, and then after the inspection, if they feel that the pothole problem is over a longer stretch of the road, then they will resurface the entire road. And it may take 5, 6, 7 letters or maybe a few visits, 7, 8 visits to get it done. But once again, it's a sure shot way of getting the roads fixed. I've had dozens of successes that way. And coming to the second question of the app, I think till the time the municipal corporations don't do away with these blacklisted contractors, app or no app, the problem will remain.
No, but is the app even working now?
Honestly, I've not tried it for a while. It was working, but I haven't seen it in a while. Because as I said, once you establish a rapport with the officer, then you can just, pick up the phone and request or make a personal visit. So, but the overall problem remains. The structural problem is that, tainted, blacklisted contractors keep getting the contract. And, till that is rectified, problem may not go away soon.
But this is interesting, the way Rupesh has brought up this question, and we are in March at this point in time. Generally, people start talking about potholes in the rains, when the roads are a complete mess and when the problem has already become huge, become immense, and everybody is running after the BMC to get it solved. But the fact that he's raising it now, is this something that all citizens across cities should start doing? Raise the issue of potholes in the summers itself so that it puts pressure on the civic body to fix the roads?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the right time to raise the issue. If it's a very long stretch of road, then they may just do some patchwork because I don't think they can relay a very long stretch of road going through the process of doing the survey, calling for tenders and awarding the work. So that may not happen because monsoon is only 2 months away, but they can definitely fix the road temporarily. And if it's, as I said, if it's a bigger problem, then they should resurface the entire road. And it is a guaranteed success. You write to the deputy chief engineer, and if it's a genuine problem, your road will get resurfaced.
Right, so write to the deputy chief engineer, and in fact that's something that's a takeaway for all citizens across cities. If there is a pothole in your area which is affecting your daily commute, take that step now, take a photograph, write to the engineer in charge, and keep following up so that the pothole is fixed before the rains hit your city. Deepak writes in and says sewage has become a major problem in our society in Wadala. We approached the municipal corporation but nobody responded. They said that the authorities will look into it and got away by telling us to give them a written complaint. Now, written complaint was given, but no work has been initiated yet. Living here has become a nightmare to the people of the society. What can they do now?
Okay, so again, Wadala probably, I think it comes under F North Ward, and there is a maintenance department, and again the maintenance department has several sub-departments, of which one of them, one engineer looks after the sewage. So if the problem of sewage is within the society or the building, the BMC will not enter the building and fix it. But if the problem is outside, then it is their, it comes under their duty to fix it. So what they should do is first find out where the problem is, and if it is within the society, they should fix it themselves. Or sometimes what happens is,
when you say within the society, this includes the pipelines that have been laid within the society and till the gate of the society. Is that how we understand that?
Right. But if the problem is within the society but is happening because of a blockage outside their society, then the BMC will still fix it.
So who figures that out? Will somebody come from the BMC come and check the sewage lines first?
Unfortunately, I think the society should do it. At least the first initial survey should be done by them to find out where exactly the problem is. They can call a local plumber and get it. Immediately they can find out where the exact choke point is. And as I said, if it is outside, then definitely writing letters, and again the same procedure, approaching the assistant engineer maintenance, it's called AE maintenance. And then if it is not happening, then approaching the assistant municipal commissioner or the ward officer.
So essentially, these are the two people in your ward whom you should be ideally knowing on first name terms. They are the most important people in your ward, and they are the ones who will ensure that all your work gets done. The assistant engineer maintenance and your assistant municipal commissioner, these are the people who are very, very important. So if you do not know them, go and meet them. Like Gaurang said earlier, it is best to build a personal rapport with these officers, because after all, they're also doing their job. You need to go and meet them a couple of times, and you'll probably see that your work becomes that much more easier. Nagesh says that he's a resident of Wadala. He recently shifted here from Bengaluru. He's been trying to get a new voter ID done. He's got the voter ID in Bengaluru cancelled by submitting an application to the concerned ward officer of the BBMP. Now he wants to know how to apply for a new voter ID here. He has all the documents required for the same. And Gaurang is the man to answer that question. Because Gaurang, you've helped a lot of citizens get their voter IDs.
Right. The process is they have to fill up form number 6, and that can be downloaded from either my website or the Election Commission's website. And along with form number 6, they have to give address proof, age proof, and photo proof of that. And also the most important thing that has to be given with it is the booth number. Booth number is basically a number allocated to the physical location where you go and cast your vote. So if, let's say, Wadala Vidhan Sabha has 225 booths and you give your application, they may or may not take the effort to find out which booth your building or your house belongs to. So just check with your neighbor, get the booth number, and also in the form there is a provision for writing the serial number within that booth of a neighbor or a family member who's already enrolled in the voting list. So for example, if your neighbor is booth number 17, serial number 555, then you should mention his name and the serial number along with your application and the papers that I mentioned. And this is almost a sure shot way of getting your name enrolled. Also attach the copy of the cancellation from Bengaluru, because if you don't do that, and if you are, let's say, a middle-aged person, then they will ask, why have you not enrolled for so many years in a voting list? And they may ask for, legally they may ask for an affidavit to say I have not enrolled in any other voting list. So the best bet is to attach all these documents so your work gets done in one trip. And the center, I think, for Vadala is near Dosti Acres, and it can also be, the location can also be obtained from any online website.
And tell me this, Gaurang, now that we've just come out of one round of elections in Mumbai at least, and he is trying to get his list name added to the list in Mumbai, can he do that immediately now, or does he need to wait for the election commission to actually come out and say that, we are updating the voters list, so come and apply?
No, there has to be a campaign which is being run to enroll voters by the election commission. Only during that campaign period, your name can be enrolled, and they run these campaigns very frequently. Unfortunately, it is not announced very often, or not publicized very nicely. So, the phone number of that center can be obtained from the website, and you can just call and find out when the next campaign is going to be run. In the meantime, all the papers can be ready.
How often, how frequent are these campaigns? Once in a month, once in 3 months?
Maybe 2-3 times a year at least.
2-3 times a year.
Probably more, but at least 2-3 times a year. They can also try applying online and uploading the documents. So, that can be done right away.
Right. So apply online, upload your documents, and keep in touch with your local election center, and they should be able to tell you when is the next round, when they are getting registrations done, and you can ensure that your name is added onto the voters list. Sachin says that he has found out that funds are being misused in one of the wards of the BMC. Now he wants to find out the details of these funds. He wants to apply for an RTI and find out the details. Whom should he address this plea to?
Okay, so I'm assuming these funds are being misused by the municipal corporation, because there are a lot of public departments like housing department, road, MSRDC or PWD or various others. So if the funds are being misused by the local municipal corporation, then he has to find out which department is misusing the funds, because again, within the BMC ward office, there are dozens of departments like hydraulic or maintenance, or the garden department and various such departments. So once that department has been identified, the RTI application can be made in the name of the Assistant Municipal Commissioner, and asking for details on the funds which have been allocated, and B, on how they have been utilized.
Right, so the Assistant Municipal Commissioner is the person to whom you need to address that RTI query to. Of course, you have to indicate which is the department in question that has misappropriated or misused those funds.
Sorry to interrupt you. They need not, ideally, if they don't mention, it is the duty of the responding officer to find out and give the answer. But for a better success, I think if you have all the details and submit the application, you will have a faster response.
Right. And a question from Bengaluru now. Vaishak writes in, says, I have completed my BBA in 2015 and his roll number is 36396. He's applied for some correction in his mark sheet on 24th June 2015. But till date, he's not received his mark sheet. He's visited the college office and even the concerned staff. Nobody's supporting me. Please help, he says. 1 year and he's still waiting for that mark sheet.
Okay, so probably, again, the question is not very clear, but I'm assuming the mark sheet was issued by the city university. So he has to, I'm assuming that that he's applied at the college, and the college probably forwarded his application to the university. So maybe what he can do is apply directly with the registrar at the university, and also make a trip there with all the relevant documents and see where the delay is, and that probably should solve the issue. And if that doesn't work, then if the bottleneck is the college, then maybe he can approach the trustees of the college, the management, because maybe the management may be more responsive than the principal or the office staff.
Approach the trustees of the college and approach the registrar of the university, make applications to both, and that should probably help you get your mark sheet and figure out why the marks were not revised. We have a citizen who's called in. Go on, tell us what's your question. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, ma'am. What's your name and what is your question?
My question, I'm Dr. Hema Dave from Kandivali.
Yes, doctor.
I'm a ALM member. So I would like to ask you a question that when the Parliament and Vidhan Sabha all the proceedings are seen live. So Prabhag Samiti proceedings, we are not able to see or we are not able to participate as a citizen. So what is my corporator is doing for me? I don't know what questions are they addressing my problems or not? And why there is no transparency in allowing the citizens that proceedings in the ward? We have been applying and we have been requesting to the ward officer and this has been raised. And nowadays citizen groups are very active. So
Right.
there should be a transparency. If BJP is talking about transparency, Shiv Sena and BJP, they should come out with this kind of a thing.
Exactly,
Let me
Dr.
be
Dave.
direct.
It's a wonderful question that you've raised. Great issue. And in fact, this is something that we've constantly been discussing right through the BMC elections. Gaurang, what can citizens do? There are a lot of ALMs in Mumbai who would love to see what is going on in those Prabhag Samitis.
More than the Prabhag Samiti, I think our concern should be the standing committee, because that's where the big projects get sanctioned. And the surprising part is standing committee working is very transparent, because journalists are allowed to sit in the standing committee meetings, and their minutes of meeting also are available if someone wants to have a look at it. And you can also go and sit in the corporation house and see how
No, but what about the Prabhag Samiti meeting? She's obviously very concerned about what is happening in her area, in her locality.
So the Prabhag Samiti minutes also are available, and you can just write a letter requesting the Prabhag Samiti meeting minutes to be made available. If not, then again, as I said, as a last resort, an RTI can be done. But there is not. It's just that the effort has to be taken, and I think it should be easily available.
Right to whom?
The Prabhag Samiti, I think, should go to the Deputy Municipal Commissioner, because it's. I think it encompasses a couple of municipal wards. So the Deputy Municipal Commissioner should be the right person for that.
Right. So, Dr. Dave, write to your assistant Deputy Municipal Commissioner, I'm sorry, and ask for the minutes of the Prabhag Samiti meeting. Do get back to us and tell us whether you've had any success in that, whether the minutes of the meeting were given to you. And in fact, this is an issue that we will take up on Magicbricks Now and ask the BMC to ensure that Prabhag Samiti meeting is open to citizens as well, so that they also know what is happening in their locality. With that, we come to an end of this episode of Citizens Hotline. Gaurang, thank you very much for coming in, answering all those questions. And of course, any questions related to any civic issue that you're facing, any service that is not getting delivered, send it in to us and we will tell you how to get your government to work for you. Thank you for watching.